The effect of paper coffee cups on seabirds. Paper coffee cups have had a negative effect on the environment and in particular seabirds and their environment and their ability to live a healthy and productive life. The overuse of paper coffee cups in cafes has led to over 1 billion cups being dumped in landfill annually. These cups are manufactured from recycled paper and then the inside of cups are coated with a plastic film to ensure they do not leak when hot liquid is poured in. As they begin to break down, a very thin layer of plastic is left behind. Birds, through instinct, often scavenge through landfill, and the thin, glistening pieces of plastic can be mistaken for food. It can also get tangled around beaks and the feet of bird life, but when consumed, the results are death. I started my research by Googling some local news stories and reading a few different perspectives of the effect of coffee cups on the seabirds. I then started to use Google Scholar to search for statistical information to support the claims that the seabirds were being affected by the cups. I found it quite challenging initially to find factual information and needed to be more specific in my keyword searches. These cups are used in cafes around Australia, and the Australian consumers are using them by the billion. Every year, 500 billion cups are manufactured worldwide. White claims that of the 500 billion, 1 billion takeaway coffee cups are used by Australians. These cups then work their way into waterways or become litter in parks and beaches, where they risk the lives of seabirds. 23% of the litter in our parks and gardens come from these takeaway containers. Seabirds have a very important part to play in maintaining the balance of life. For example, cross-pollination of plants, population control of fish, and the assistance in decomposition of plants. The plastic film hinders the seabird's digestive system, damaging the stomach and lining. It hinders the feeding drive, which can then lead to death. Seabirds are a main source of protection for crops, as they eat the mosquitoes, worms, and insects. Without them, crops would be infested with insects and destroyed, and the insect populations would be out of control. Seabirds are known for simulating primary productivity, creating new plant species by cross-germinating existing plants within the seabird's environment. Seabirds take nutrients from the sea and leave it on the land, which then assists with the genetic biodiversity of plant species, assisting with the necessary adaptations that the new species of plants may need to thrive and making the area habitable for other animals present in their ecosystem. This is most commonly comes in the form of bird droppings. Seabirds are nature's way of population control, of not just the insects, but the sea life as well, as it is their main source of food. Their eating habits control the population. Some seabirds do not get a chance to eat before they get tangled in these horrible plastics, and it can lead to their drownings, impairment, or leave them vulnerable to predators. Seabirds spend a lot of time trampling the grounds around riverbanks and beaches, scavenging for food. This assists with cleaning up the environment and breaking down the leaf litter on the forest floor as they trample around, assisting with the decomposition process. This then promotes forest growth, which in turn affects the amount of carbon present in the environment, ultimately affecting climate change. If Australia continues to manufacture 1 billion cups a year, it can only be assumed that without any intervention, landfill will continue to fill and cups will continue to find their way into waterways. The threat to marine biodiversity will continue and seabird population will decline. National Geographic state that 90% of the seabirds eat plastic now, so it is estimated that 100% of seabirds will be eating it by 2050. Studies already show that South Australia has the highest concentration of plastic contamination in the world. This greatly impacts the decline of seabird population. National Geographic studies show that a 67% decline in population in 2010, and this decline is likely to continue without intervention. Studies have shown that 50% of the 120 different species of tube-nosed seabirds are either already classified as endangered or threatened. I believe this topic would be well suited to a science research project for a Year 5-6 class. It has links to biological sciences, as the life of seabirds affects other animals and birds, chemical sciences, as there are environmental repercussions for the use of... Created using Powtoon.